Reply to the address, part 6. In this land are still religion and spirituality, the fountains which will have to overflow and flood the world to bring in new life and new vitality to the Western and other nations, which are now almost borne down, half killed, and degraded by political ambitions and social scheming. From out of many voices, consonant and dissident, from out of the medley of sounds filling the Indian atmosphere, rises up supreme, striking, and full one note that is renunciation, give up. That is the watchword of the Indian religions. This world is a delusion of 2 days. The present life is of 5 minutes. Beyond is the infinite. Beyond this world of delusion, let us seek that. This continent is illumined with brave and gigantic minds and intelligences which even think of this so called infinite universe as only a mud puddle. Beyond and still beyond they go. Time, even infinite time, is to them but non existence. Beyond and beyond time they go. Space is nothing to them. Beyond that they want to go, and this going beyond the phenomena is the very soul of religion. The characteristic of my nation is this transcendentalism, this struggle to go beyond, this daring to tear the veil off the face of nature and have it at any risk, at any price, a glimpse of the beyond. This is our ideal. But of course, all the people in the country cannot give up entirely. Do you want to enthuse them? Then here is a way to do so. Your talks of politics, of social regeneration, your talks of money making and commercialism, all these will roll off like water from a duck's back. This spirituality, then, is what you have to teach the world. Have we to learn anything else? Have we to learn anything from the world? We have perhaps to gain a little in material knowledge, in the power of organization, in the ability to handle powers, organizing powers, in bringing the best results out of the smallest of causes. This perhaps to a certain extent we may learn from the West. But if anyone preaches in India the ideal of eating and drinking and making merry, if anyone wants to apothesize the material world into a god, that man is a liar. He has no place in this holy land. The Indian mind does not want to listen to him. I, in spite of the sparkle and glitter of the Western civilization, in spite of all its polish and its marvelous manifestation of power, standing upon this platform, I tell them to their face that this is all in vain. It is vanity of vanities. God alone lives. The soul alone lives. Spirituality alone lives. Hold on to that. Yet, perhaps some sort of materialism toned down to our own requirements would be a blessing to many of our brothers who are not yet ripe for the highest truths. This is the mistake made in every country and in every society, and it is a greatly regrettable thing that in India, where it was always understood the same mistake of forcing the highest truth on people who are not ready for them, has been made of late. My method need not be yours. The sannyasis, as you all know, is the ideal of the Hindu life, and every one of our shastras is compelled to give up. Every Hindu who has tasted the fruits of this world must give it up in the latter part of his life. And he who does not is not a Hindu and has not more one and has no more right to call himself a Hindu. We know that this is the ideal, to give up after seeing and experiencing the vanity of things. Having found out that the heart of the material world is a mere hollow containing only ashes, give it up and go back. The mind is circling forward, as it were, towards the senses, and that mind has to circle backwards. The pravati has to stop and the nivriti has to begin. That is the ideal. But that ideal can only be realized after a certain amount of experience. We cannot teach the child the truth of renunciation. The child is born optimist. His whole life is in his senses. The whole life is one mass of sense enjoyment. So there are childlike men in every society who require a certain amount of experience, of enjoyment to see through the vanity of it, and then renunciation will come to them. There has been ample provisions made for them in our books. But unfortunately, in later times, there has been a tendency to bind everyone down by the same laws as those by which the sannyasis were born. And that is a great mistake. For that, a good deal of the poverty and the misery that you see in India need not have been. A poor man's life is hemmed in and bound down by tremendous spiritual and ethical laws for which he has no use. Hands off. Let the poor fellow enjoy himself a little, and then he will raise himself up, and renunciation will come to him of itself. Perhaps in this line, we can be taught something by the Western people, but we must be very cautious in learning these things. I'm sorry to say that most of the examples one meets nowadays of men who have imbibed the Western ideas are more or less failures. There are two great obstacles on our path in India: the sila of old orthodoxy and the Charybdis of modern European civilization. Of these two, I vote for the old orthodoxy and not for the Europeanized system. For the old orthodox man may be ignorant, he may be crude, but he is a man. He has faith, he has strength, he stands on his own 2 feet, while the Europeanized man has no backbone. He is a mass of heterogeneous ideas picked up at random from every source. And these ideas are unassimilated, undigested, unharmonized. He does not stand on his 2 feet, but his head is turned round and round. Where is the motive power of this work? In a few patronizing parts of the English people? His schemes of reforms, his vehement vituperations against the evils of certain social customs have as the mainspring some European patronage. Why are some of our customs called evils? Because the Europeans say so. That is about the reason he gives. I would not submit to that. Stand and die in your own strength. If there is any sin in the world, it is weakness. Avoid all weakness, for weakness is sin. Weakness is death. These unbalanced creatures are not yet formed into distinct personalities. What are we to call them? Men, women, animals. While those old Orthodox people are staunch and were men, there are still some excellent examples, and the one I want to present before you is your Raja of Ramanad.